Welcome back. Feeding Our Future, a Twin Cities nonprofit which claimed to be feeding tens of thousands of children during the COVID-19 pandemic, has dissolved.
The move comes as the organization faces a federal investigation into an alleged large-scale fraud scheme. Reporter Jonah Kaplan has the story.
Newly released court documents obtained by WCCO confirming a 48th suspect charged in what officials call the largest pandemic fraud in the United States. According to investigators, agents arresting Mekfira Hussein at MSP Airport on Saturday before she could take a one-way flight to Ethiopia. Prosecutors accusing Hussein of playing a key role in an alleged scheme that was led by the group Feeding Our Future and its founder Amy Bach to milk hundreds of millions of dollars from the U.S. government that should have been spent on feeding hungry kids in Minnesota. That mission to feed those kids still continues, with nonprofits like Youth Prize playing by the rules.
A hungry kid isn't necessarily going to look a certain way. They aren't going to necessarily tell you they're hungry, but they're hungry. They're going to show up, they're going to eat. The programs need to exist.
Like Youth Prize, Feeding Our Future was a program that helped divvy up the government cash and connect food service providers with schools, daycares, and after-school programs. In 2019, Feeding Our Future dispersing about $3.5 million worth. But by 2021, its receipts skyrocketing to more than $200 million. The suspects ranging in age from their 20s to 60s and coming from nearly 24 cities and towns from across the metro, plus 2 from the state of Ohio. One man indicted, Abdi Nursala, was a senior aide to Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey. The mayor today telling us Sala was fired last February. He called the allegations appalling.
In the wake of the federal investigation, state Republicans called for an audit on Minnesota's COVID-19 spending. The FBI froze all of Feeding Our Future's assets. The nonprofit says no one has been criminally charged.
A local couple is out $18,000. Police in Moorhead say earlier this year, a woman called the two grandparents posing as their granddaughter, saying she was in a car crash with another woman and a baby. Now, the scammer said that they needed the $18,000 for bail. Someone posing as a lawyer then called the couple and arranged to get the money. Then a thin black man showed up in a tan car, got the cash and left. Moorhead PD say never give out information or money over the phone.
Tens of millions of federal dollars will be used to expand high-speed internet access across North Dakota to rural areas of the state. The USDA's Rural Development Office announced 3 grants totaling more than $30.5 million to provide high-speed internet to rural communities and businesses. One project will connect nearly 1,500 people in Barnes, Cass, and Ransom counties.
Time to crown a champion tonight at Newman Outdoor Stadium. We're going to go live to preview the big game between the Red Hawks and the Milkmen.